Bangladesh is absolutely buzzing with entrepreneurial energy. Seriously, millions of businesses get started with so much passion and drive. But so many of them hit a wall. They struggle to actually grow. Today, we're going to dig into that critical gap, the one between just starting a business and building one that can truly scale and succeed.
All right, first up, let's talk about this strange paradox that's playing out in Bangladesh's business scene. It's this real clash between incredible energy on one side and the actual results on the other. Okay, so you've got micro, small, and medium enterprises. We call them MSMEs. And they are, without a doubt, the engine of the entire economy. Just think about this number. They contribute roughly a quarter of the whole country's GDP. They are absolutely fundamental.
And here's that paradox in a nutshell. On one hand, you have this massive, incredible wave of energy, people starting new ventures everywhere. But on the other side, a tiny, tiny fraction of them ever manage to cross that chasm to become stable, scalable companies that are ready to compete on a bigger stage. It's a huge gap.
You can see the exact same story playing out in the startup world. Picture a year where, say, $124 million gets invested, but it's spread across only 12 deals. You see what that means? The big money, the growth capital, it's super concentrated. Investors are placing these huge bets on a very, very small number of companies that have incredibly strong foundations. And that's a bar that most new businesses just can't clear.
So, what's holding everybody back? Well, it usually boils down to three core pressures that every single entrepreneur is facing, all at the same time. Let's break those down.
Look, you're basically fighting a war on three fronts at once. First, you've got intense market pressure from all your competitors. Then, there's compliance pressure. All the boring but essential stuff like taxes, licenses, paperwork, things you just can't ignore if you want to grow. And finally, you've got that constant finance pressure. The struggle to actually get the funding you need.
And this, right here, this is the heart of the matter. So often, a business fails to get funding, and it's not because they aren't making money. The real wall they hit is a lack of structure. Without clean books, solid plans, and real discipline, that door to capital just stays shut. And that is the deal breaker.
So this is where the solution comes into play. What we need is a bridge. Something to get all that raw entrepreneurial energy over to a place of real operational maturity. And you know what? That bridge is mentorship.
Let's just ask the question straight up. How do you actually make that leap? How do you turn all that passion into a well-oiled machine that's actually built for growth?
Now, real mentorship isn't just about a few feel-good pep talks. No way. It's a practical, structured system. It's about getting guidance, getting support for those tough decisions, and, this is critical, it creates accountability. It's what turns accidental growth into intentional, measurable progress.
You see, effective mentorship really gives you a clear blueprint. It focuses on the specific outcomes that entrepreneurs need the most to finally break through to that next level. Let's dig into what that looks like.
The first, and maybe most important outcome, is just total financial clarity. This means really, truly mastering your numbers. Everything from nailing down your pricing and tracking every single cost to planning your cash flow and building a smart strategy for financing. This is the kind of discipline that makes a business tough, resilient, and, you guessed it, fundable to investors.
And this quote, this highlights a mistake that is so common and so fatal. So many businesses expand, they're showing a profit on paper, and then they suddenly collapse because their cash flow just dries up. Understanding that profit and cash are two different things, that's a survival lesson, and it's something a good mentor drills into you from day one.
Next up, a mentor helps you build a modern strategy for sales and marketing. Because look, it's not enough to just have a great product. You need a system, a repeatable process to find clients, manage your leads, and build a powerful online presence that actually drives growth.
And the third major outcome is all about building systems that can be repeated. This is about moving away from that owner-driven chaos where everything depends on one person and moving towards standard procedures, SOPs, that let the business scale efficiently and even compete on the world stage. So just take a second here and think about your own business, or maybe one you know really well. Do any of these challenges sound a little too familiar? These are the classic red flags, right? Sales are going up, but somehow profits are flat. There's never enough cash. Even when business is good, everything falls apart if the owner isn't there. If you're nodding your head to any of these, it just means you're facing structured problems, and the good news is they have a structured solution. Okay, so if these are the problems, and we know mentorship is the solution, the obvious next question is, where can entrepreneurs actually turn? And that brings us to a specific organization designed to deliver exactly these results. Trade and Investment Bangladesh, or TINB.
And really, their mission statement just says it all. It's about empowering entrepreneurs, accelerating their growth, and at the end of the day, connecting them and what they make to the global market. Now, TNIB is led by MD Joynal Abdin, and he brings more than 18 years of deep, hands-on experience to the table. I mean, this is someone who was the secretary of the Dhaka Chamber of Commerce and a deputy manager at the SME Foundation. He's seen these challenges from every single angle. He gets this world from the inside out. So this is where it all clicks into place. For every single core problem we just talked about, from that financial confusion and stagnant sales to operational chaos, TNI provides a direct, focused mentorship solution. It creates this clear path from challenge to readiness. When it comes right down to it, it's this simple. In today's incredibly competitive market, just having a good idea is nowhere near enough. Business readiness, being structured, being compliant, being disciplined, that is your ultimate competitive advantage. And that really just leaves us with one final question to think about. Is your business built on potential alone, or is it truly built for performance? Because mentorship is the thing that turns all that potential into real, lasting results.